welcome to another episode, and today I'm sharing with you the reasons why I love living here in Italy. Now don't get me wrong, it isn't always easy, and I've already done a video above which I'll link where I talk about the more difficult aspects that I've faced living here, but it's always good to balance the scales because of course there are many positive aspects to life here which have kept me living in this beautiful country for nearly 3 years. I want to share some of these with you today in case you are curious about what life is like here, or perhaps maybe you're considering moving to Italy in the future. I think it's always good to understand the positive aspects of the country and the benefits that it could bring you. So let's get into it, shall we? So I just want to start by saying if you're enjoying my videos and like my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the bell notification so you know when my videos go live once a week. It means the world. So let's get into the first reason why I love living here in Italy, and it is because of the climate. Now I come from the UK, London especially, where 80% of the year is spent with grey skies, rain and cold temperatures. It's pretty grotty. So, you know, when we do have the odd moment of good weather, it's usually very short-lived. And as a Brit, we know this. So we tend to go a little bit berserk. We whip out our summer clothes, we start throwing barbecues, and we go crazy because we know that maybe in 2 or 3 days' time, it will be back to rain again. So, you know, you can imagine my delight at moving to a country where typically for the majority of the year, the weather is beautiful. It's amazing. Like, I have to be honest, sunshine is so good for the soul. To wake up to blue skies every morning, it makes you feel so damn good. So, you know, I absolutely love living here for that reason. And also because in the summer, in the UK, the temperatures are the equivalent to how it is here in the south of Italy in the spring. So in May time in the spring here in the south of Italy, I'm running around with a t-shirt on, without a jacket, because I'm used to these temperatures in the summer back in London. But I'll look around and the locals here have still got their jackets like tightly on. So I understand that from nearly 3 years of living here, summer doesn't begin until the Italians remove their jackets. That is the indication that summer is here. It's just so funny, the things that you observe from the locals, but honestly, that's true. But honestly, the climate here is just amazing. It really lends itself to a beautiful nightlife pre-COVID, where people would gather on the streets to eat al fresco and drink and socialise with friends. It was just absolutely beautiful. And, you know, of course, in the south of Italy where I live, it can get very hot in the summer months. And so you need fans and air conditioning in your apartment to stay comfortable. But on a whole, it is absolutely beautiful. And I wouldn't swap it for the world. I love the hot temperatures. I'm really not a fan of the cold. So to me, the climate is perfect. So reason number 2 as to why I love living here is, of course, because of the food. The food here is exceptional. Now, don't get me wrong, there are beautiful dishes that we have in the UK, but I honestly don't think I've ever eaten such fresh ingredients before I moved here to Italy. This is the country where I have finally learned how to cook and where I have developed a passion for food and for discovering new recipes. And it is a country where food is a central part of the culture. This is why there are siestas in the afternoon for people to go home and have their lunch. This is why on a Sunday, there's a real focus on families gathering together for Sunday lunches. And you can smell the delicious food wafting from kitchen windows as you walk along the street on a Sunday. It's amazing. But here, there's such an emphasis on the quality and quantity of food because Italians know how to eat. Honestly, the first words I learnt when I came here were sono sazia, which basically means I'm full up, because honestly, I really was. However, nearly 3 years in, I feel like I've adjusted a bit more to the portion sizes and quantities of food here, but it's amazing. Like, honestly, the pizza, especially in the region where I live, Campania, it's famous for its pizza. This is the region that has Naples in it, Napoli. So Naples is very famous for its pizza, and this whole region is as a result. The pasta's phenomenal. I eat pasta every single day, even though I grew up in a country where they said it was really bad to eat pasta every day because there was too many carbohydrates and you should balance your diet more. But I eat pasta every day and I've honestly never felt healthier. So I think, you know, sometimes there are some old wives' tales and some myths that we grow up with that just aren't true, particularly because here in Italy, everything is cooked from scratch. They don't really tend to use processed sauces. And for this, I think it's a lot healthier, and olive oil is used in practically every element of cooking, which is so good for you anyway. So there's a reason why the population here is typically older, because they eat so well. There's also like mozzarella, which is amazing in my region as well. Campania is famous for the mozzarella, and also, the dolce, the sweets. And what I love as well is how every different region in Italy has its own typical dishes. So you can travel around the whole country and try something new in every place you visit that is typical and exclusive to that region. It's amazing. It's like a journey of food traveling through Italy. It's just delightful, and honestly, I think this is the number one reason why you should move to Italy. If I have to categorize it, it's for the food, because you will never eat as good as you do when you're staying here. I promise you, it's amazing. So the third reason why I love living here is because of the culture. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, you know, it can vary in different parts of Italy, I know, but I live in the south of Italy, so this is what my videos are all about, life here in the south. And the people here are so warm-hearted and friendly and kind and open and will do anything for you. Consider my Italian has been the bare minimum for like nearly 3 years, and I've managed to get by, and people have helped me and been so accommodating to me. So, you know, I think it's just really beautiful having come from a country where in the UK, people are typically more self-centered. They tend to think more about themselves as opposed to other people. It's really refreshing to live in a country now where things are the complete opposite. And it's definitely taught me a lot and helped me to become a better person as a result. But honestly, the culture here is amazing. It's, of course, a very religious country. The head of the Roman Catholic Church is here, and of course they celebrate religious festivals and patron saint days. So for example, here in Salerno, the patron saint is San Matteo. So on the day, I think it's in September, when it's the patron saint day, everyone typically gets a day off in the Salerno area, and pre-COVID there would be a big procession and all the saints would process along in the centre of the Salerno city. And it would just be magical. Like, there was such an incredible environment and atmosphere, but obviously this was pre-COVID. But it's just beautiful, like, you know, all these little patron saint days, and also they celebrate name days, particularly here in Campania. I don't think it's so typical in every part of Italy, but there are certain days of the year which are dedicated to certain names, some of which I think are religious names and saint days. And basically, if you have the same name on that day, you will bring cakes and sweets to your friends or classmates or colleagues to celebrate. It's really magical. We don't have anything like this in the UK, and all we tend to typically celebrate in the UK are the main festivals like Christmas and Easter. So it's really beautiful that there are additional cultural festivities that I now get to be a part of and learn more about. It's really, really special. And I also love like the little regional festivals that would take place as well, obviously pre-COVID, but I'm so fortunate that I got to experience these because they are very, very, very beautiful and a very magical aspect of life here in Italy. So you'd have like the little towns and villages that would have their own festivals. Sometimes there might be festivals about the lemons. Obviously I live near the Amalfi, and this is obviously a very typical fruit of this region, and you know, there'd be festivals with fish or music festivals, just absolutely beautiful. And I loved this aspect of culture here, and I really hope that we can return back to those festivals soon post-COVID. But yes, it's just really beautiful. The culture here is phenomenal, a very warm-hearted culture. I feel like you will learn a lot from living here or visiting here, and yeah, it's just absolutely wonderful. I love how traditional it is, even though there are aspects of the traditional way of life that I find difficult, which I spoke about in my previous video. On a whole, I really do like it. I really do like the sense of community that I feel is somewhat lacking from where I'm from in the UK. So the fourth reason why I love living here in Italy is, of course, because of the scenery. I live in the most beautiful part of Italy. I'm near the Amalfi, I'm near the sea. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm constantly taking photographs. My phone memory is constantly full up because of this, but I wouldn't swap it for the world. It's amazing. And I think, you know, when you live in a country for nearly 3 years and you still find things that captivate you and make you want to take pictures, you know that you are living in a very special place. And, you know, I think even in perhaps the less picturesque parts of Italy, you can still find something beautiful, whether it's the typical buildings, it's historical centres, it's the churches, which are absolutely phenomenal inside, so beautiful, or, you know, it's just like a little restaurant here, or an old-fashioned piece of transport, or whatever it may be. There are so many pretty aspects to life here in Italy. And, you know, I live in a country with palm trees. This blows my mind. I am so happy to live in a country with palm trees. So yes, the scenery here is beautiful, and it makes you feel so good to wake up and live in such a pretty part of the world. And the fifth reason why I love living here is because of the cost of living. Now, don't get me wrong, I know this is relative. I know it depends on where you live in Italy. But having come from the UK, where everything is very expensive, to moving here to the south of Italy, where you can get a bottle of wine for €3 or €4 and a pizza for €4, it's incredible. And I never fail to appreciate just what a difference the cost of living is here compared to how it is in the UK. And I think, you know, I'm so grateful that I live here. I understand that the cost of living is relative to people's wages here in the south, but honestly, I appreciate it so much, having come from London, where, goodness me, everything is so expensive. And when I can get on a train here and pay €4 for a ticket, I think it's pretty phenomenal, considering I'd probably pay like £12 or £15 for the same ticket if I was living in the UK. So the cost of living is amazing. Your money definitely goes a lot further here. And, you know, you tend to appreciate it a lot more if you've come from a very expensive country. So these are just some of the reasons why I love living here in Italy. I hope it's given you a little unique insight, and I will see you soon.